Well, this group played for some really good teams in the 70s, teams that were very, very close. As a matter of fact, you think about the Cardinals in the 70s, a couple of MVPs. Keith won in 1979. Joe Torre won in 1971. Lou Brock should have won in 1974. Ted Simmons had years that were of MVP quality. And especially, Lou, when you think about all the winning that you did in the 60s, I would have to believe that as you went into the 70s, you thought the Cardinals were going to keep on winning.
Yeah, I thought we would. One thing happened in the 70s that took us out was expansion in baseball, which ripped into our ball club and it tore it apart. Players who walked off the field at the end of 1968, there was about 25 of us. The next year, it was only like 12 of those guys. So we had a different ball club altogether. And it's all because of expansion.
Ted Simmons, this question comes up all the time, and I want all of you guys to answer this. If Steve Carlton is a Cardinal rather than a Philly in the 70s, how different are things?
Well, it's pretty clear that, when he left and went to Philadelphia, it hurt everybody, this whole town. It hurt psychologically. The team, knew that they had lost something pretty dramatic. But to be honest, Wise came over and didn't pitch badly. So it wasn't like it was a complete and total loss. But when you take a guy like Carlton, a Hall of Fame caliber pitcher like that, and you take him out of the heart of your club, you can't help but miss that. And that club certainly did.
Keith, you had to face him a lot, especially as a left-handed hitter. So you know how tough Carlton was.
Well, actually, he's the one guy I faced the most in my career. I had almost 160 at-bats against him. And ironically, I hit around 340 off of him. Don't ask me why.
Keith not only...
So at that age, and when you're trying to establish yourself, a lot of things happen. So we as veteran players sort of pick up on that, and we delight ourselves in doing such.
I got one thing to add. One time Lou came down. I was very moody when I was young. I was down at the end of the bench having a tough time, and Lou came down, and I saw him out of the corner of my eye. I went, oh, God. And Lou came up to me and with tough love said, what are you feeling sorry for yourself? No one's going to feel sorry for yourself in this game. See that? You're mad at yourself. You're pouting. He goes, get mad at that pitcher. The pitcher's the guy out there that's making you angry. He goes, get mad at him. Take it out on him. And you know what? It straightened me up. And I broke out of my slump.
All right. We have a couple of minutes left here. A lot of things happened in that decade. But Ted, I want to go back to September of 1974. Bill Madlock at the plate, Al Hrabosky on the mound. You're behind the plate. Shag Crawford is the umpire. And a brawl erupted.
Yeah, well, what I tell people when they ask me this, take out your, iPad or whatever you got, your iPhone, click in the names, Simmons, Madlock. It'll tell you all that you need to know in a very short version, because that version is long, and I'll do my best to condense it, other than to say, Al Hrabosky was going through his thing, psyching up and driving half the world crazy, half the team crazy. And we'd had episodes like this with Houston previously and others, and what happened that day, there were essentially 3 batters thrust into home plate, all swinging at the ball at the same time, because Shag Crawford had insisted that the Hrabosky should pitch. And, Al would go behind behind the mound, do this psych-up thing, come charging, and Madlock, who was in the batter box, ready to go, he'd go back to the dugout, or get the pine tar or whatever. And then Al would, as soon as he'd get back, he'd get off. This going on, so on the third try, at least the third try, I guess, Shag said, pitch. So I got back, and Al went through, and I remember I reached up this high to catch the first one, and Shag said, strike one. Now, so I throw it back as quick as I can. Al gets it. He comes and throws it, and this time Cardinal has run up with Madlock. Both tried to swing at it. Okay, missed, and strike two. Then Donnie Marshall, the manager, came. And, we got, I think, to 3 before it stopped. And called timeout. Everything got back under order. And I was standing there looking, just waiting. And Madlock turned to me and he says, "What are you looking at?" And that's when things changed. But I have to tell you, if you go online and you look at that, keep your eye on what happened to me shortly after this, because there was a player whose name was Andres Thornton, who was a big right-hand hitter, and this kid was big, like linebacker type. And he ran, full blast from that dugout at third base, and I had my back to him the whole way. I never saw him coming, and he cut me in half in a way I thought on the ground I was never going to breathe again. Trying to get my breath. But if you go to online and you look at that play, just watch for Andres Thornton. Unbelievable. It was like watching the Steelers play today. Wow.
I got to add something here. Teddy and Keith both came to the big leagues, and they were working their way through their troubles. You usually had a lot of troubles like the first or second year, sometimes off into the third year. One night we were playing in Montreal, and Teddy had a pretty rough day. So he says to me at the end of the game, "I need to talk to you." Okay. Where are we going to talk? He says, under the stands. Well, they're going to turn the lights out, and you and I are going to be in this ballpark, and we're talking. Well, I'm not talking. And Teddy said, "I don't want you to say anything. All I want you to do is listen." Okay, I can do that. So Teddy started to talk, and I chipped in with a couple of words. He said, "I thought I told you not to talk."
Oh, wow.
And now the lights are out in the ballpark, and we're still under the stand there. And I never got John probably 2 words in. But he was okay at the end of the day.
Oh, wow.
It was
Boy, man.
it was quite a decade,
Oh, boy.
and that group was so close but so great. Hall of Famer Lou Brock, Cardinal Hall of Famer Ted Simmons, and pretty soon Keith Hernandez is going to be in the Cardinal Hall of Fame as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much.